Hi there. You know, when this channel first started, it originally began as a horror channel, and it's taken a really long time for me to get back around to it. But I'm finally making another video about some horror content, and it's one that I've been wanting to talk about for a really long time. You saw the title of the video. I'm finally getting into Black Mirror. When I heard that Jordan Peele was going to be involved rebooting The Twilight Zone, I actually thought that that show was going to be amazing, and I heard that it was not. The good news is I found out about this other show called Black Mirror, and it was a show that was focused primarily on technology stories. It was an anthology series, which I love anthology shows. They're some of my favorite types of TV shows. And then also it's legitimately horrifying. Now, this first episode, I will say, it's not as horrifying to me personally. I could see some people being really disturbed by it due to the nature of this story and the content of this story. But honestly, for me, the first time I saw the National Anthem, I could not get the smile off my face, and I could not stop laughing to myself about what was happening on screen. But it also had that really tangible kind of uncomfortable tension, so that you may not necessarily be laughing because something's funny. You may be laughing because how uncomfortable you are watching the events unfold. So, what is the National Anthem about? It is a story where the Prime Minister wakes up in the middle of the night. He gets a phone call, and they tell him that a terrorist has kidnapped the princess, and they are going to execute her. And the princess has to read out what the person who's kidnapped her wants her to say into the camera, and they upload this video to YouTube. And what she says is that the Prime Minister has to do something, or they're going to kill her. And that is the crux of the conflict of this episode, because it is something that the Prime Minister does not want to do in any sort of capacity. He has to you know what, I'll just let the princess tell you what he has to do.
At 4 p.m. this afternoon, Prime Minister Michael Carlo must appear on live British television and have full unsympathy to the pig.
Yeah. So, pretty hilarious, right? I know some of you guys are probably watching this and thinking, dude, that's not funny. That's really sick and disgusting. But you know what? I love sick and disgusting crap. So, honestly, to me, this episode was feeling like a comedy. The thing is a lot of the fun of this episode has to do with that tension paired with seeing what the government is going to do to keep the PM from having to go through with this request. There's a few things that take place. For one, they have people out there trying to figure out where this person is that recorded this video and sent it. They're also trying to figure out, this is something that's going on behind his back. They're trying to basically fake the act so that the Prime Minister doesn't actually have to go through with it personally. Maybe they can trick the guy, you know, or gal, whoever it is that's kidnapped the princess. And this is something that we find out later, that the PM actually didn't even know that that was going on. And the stakes end up getting raised in the story because they get a scummy guy who's willing to do this with the pig. What they were going to do is they were going to take the guy, they were going to put a green screen like bag over his head, and then they were going to put the PM's face on his face, right? Well, this news leaked, and the terrorist or whatever found out about it. So the next thing that happens is they get a finger in the mail. Now all of a sudden things have gotten really serious, because up until this point, the whole country had kind of decided that they didn't think that the prime minister really needed to do anything, that if the terrorist kills the princess, it's not his fault. He shouldn't have to do this disgusting thing with the pig. But after the finger shows up and everybody finds out that the princess is potentially missing a finger now, everybody says, okay, this is serious. There's no more goofing around. You got to do that pig, bro. Now that that's happened, it starts to get really serious, and they send out a task force to where they think they have triangulated the position of where the YouTube video is uploaded. They get out there. There's nobody there. It's fantastic. He's freaking the hell out, you know. There's a lot of discourse amongst the community about this whole situation, right? As it should be. Some of us are gonna think, hey, I mean, think about it like this: if you were in that situation, right, and you knew a politician that you hated had to do this, you'd probably think it was hilarious. I mean, there's obviously those people who would not think it was hilarious. They think it was sick and cruel and disgusting. I could not imagine actually watching that. They're saying that he has to do this on live television. And I mean, like, the fact that in the episode there are so many people gathered to watch it, I don't know if that's realistic or not. Like, I don't know if maybe I'm just kind of naive, but I don't know, man. I would not want to watch a guy with a pig. I just wouldn't. But on the show now, they're making it like everybody goes. So here's the thing. He has no options now. He has to go. He has to go do it. Another thing with the discourse is the fact that there are people who think he should do it because it's like, okay, well, you're going to get embarrassed or whatever, but you're saving somebody's life. And this is where I kind of take a major issue with the story, because I don't feel like there is a question here. Like, the fact, I mean, honestly, I kind of don't like this guy. Even though I'm having a lot of fun watching him squirm and figuring out how he's going to get out of this mess, I kind of don't like him because of the fact that he's thinking, I'm just not going to do it. But it's like, there is like literally a young person. I mean, it's like a teenage girl or something, right? And she's going to die. I know people that they say that characters like Superman are they're too like wholesome and too straight edge and stuff like that. But I can tell you one thing: if Superman had been in that prime minister's position, he would have that pig into another dimension if it meant saving a life. Batman also. So I'm just saying, put that in perspective, because when I see this, I'm thinking this is a really small price to pay to save a human life. I mean, maybe I'm just like seeing life as more valuable than what most people see it as or something. I don't know. But I'm just saying, to me, I don't see the conflict in the episode. I'm like, dude, just do it. You got to save her life. What, are you going to not save her life, you asshole? So anyway, the prime minister, a little bit of an asshole, but he's not nearly as much of an asshole as his wife is, because his wife is going on about it like, oh, it's just, they're laughing at us. Oh, woe is us. They're making fun of us. And she's like, I can't believe it. My husband's gonna a pig. And it's like, she doesn't once mention that a child's life is in the balance. And it's just like, bitch, you know, honestly, like, really? You suck. The thing is, at the end, he has to do it. There are people watching this, and we get a moment where these people are watching. One person tries to turn off the television. There are all these people standing around. I think at the hospital workers or something are watching it too. And the guy turns it back on, or stops them from turning it off or whatever. And the woman says, look, dude, this has been going on for an hour. So think about that. So he's not only had to do this, but he's been doing it for an hour. Basically, the stipulation was that he had to he had to get done. So I guess he couldn't, right? I mean, I can't imagine. But the thing is, it gets even more crazy because the people right before he gets started, are his advisors are telling him, look, don't get done too fast because people will think that you liked it then. And I'm like, what in the hell is going on? See what I mean? Like this crap is pretty damn hilarious when you think about it. The weirdest thing I think is at the end you kind of figure out what's going on, and as soon as it cuts to him doing his thing with the pig, he is just crying, and as you would expect. It cuts to a man who is obviously the guy. He's missing a finger and he hangs himself. So I guess he got the job done. He's taking himself out because obviously the British government is going to... I can't imagine what they would have done to him if they had found him, right? And then they determine that the princess was released 30 minutes before he got to business at the movie studio. Or the television studio. Then his advisor kind of theorizes that it was a statement. And that's where I think the show as a Black Mirror episode really comes into its own, because it's like the statement is he knew all the people were going to be watching their screens. And if you didn't know this already, it took me a minute to figure it out, but Black Mirror, I think, is referring to the screen of a phone or a television or a computer, any kind of electronic device that's turned off, right? It's black. I think it was a pretty interesting thing for this guy to say, because it's like he said, basically, I knew all you people were going to be in here watching this because you're all sick assholes. And he was right. Now, are people in the real world like this? I don't know. I honestly, I don't think I could imagine that many people just being in their houses. I mean, even where I live, right? I live in Georgia, and I would probably say that if the president had to bang a pig on live television, I imagine there would be plenty of people who don't even know about it. It's a little hard to believe that like every single person in London, was inside watching TV at that moment. I just don't see that happening in reality. But as far as the message that the episode was trying to get across, I thought it was pretty interesting. Pretty interesting to put that forward. But the thing is number one, the episode was super entertaining. If you like anthology shows where it's just one contained story in a single episode, I recommend giving this one a try. It's pretty good. Also, I haven't made my way through the entire series of Black Mirror. I'm planning on talking about every episode of the show. Personally, man, when I first started this channel, I thought I was going to do nothing but talk about horror content. And I really would enjoy getting to talk about it some more. So if you guys dig this, let me know by all means. And I thank you for watching to the end. And I'll see you next time.